And I think we're okay. We're already on. G'day, guys. Welcome to the Home Invest School podcast. You caught us by surprise then, but I'm your host, Graham Solomon. And remember to, if you're not already a part of the YouTube channel, go to the Social Media Blueprint YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so when we go live, you get notified. And also, if you're watching on Facebook or you're watching in one of the Facebook groups, smash that like button and smash the heart button. It encourages our guests that you're all pumped up for them to come on. So it's just encouraging. And also jump in the comments, interact, and let us know if you've got any questions. Without any further ado, I've got a very, very, very special guest today. This is someone that I think is pretty awesome. And her name is Marla J Harmon. Everybody knows her as Coach Marla in the social media blueprint space. And that's because she coaches on the tech side of things. So a lot of people find her, that she's part of their business, because when they have tech problems, they go straight to Marla. So Marla, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate your time.
I am so happy to be here. It's awesome. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for the warm introduction.
No, you're awesome. Most times you speak to me, Marla, I've got two pens sticking out of my eyes with tech issues, and we have a good laugh about it. We always have a good laugh about it because you understand that a lot of people haven't got the tech background, and that's what you're there for, and you've got a lot of patience and tolerance. But it's a very important job in the modern real estate space now, is what you do is tech, because it's just taken over, hasn't it?
It has, and if you set it up in the beginning and you just commit to getting everything going, it can really save you a lot of time and energy, in the long run. So
yeah, and that's why we brought you in, because that is your speciality, and the system that you've got. Because Marla is the owner and founder of REI Software, which is used throughout social media blueprint, but other people outside of that use it. It's an amazing product, and it is geared to give you more time. It's geared that a lot of stuff's automated, and we're going to get into that. But first, I always like to just get a bit of background on our guests and find out who they are as a person. And Marla, can you just give us a bit of a backstory? Like, obviously, there was a life before you were a busy person at Social Media Blueprint. Even before real estate, just give us a bit of a backstory, and then how you sort of got into the real estate space, and then Social Media Blueprint.
You got it. So if I kind of go back to where I got started in real estate, it was, goodness, like 20 years ago. I maybe longer. I spent cumulatively 10 years as an agent and a broker in 2 different states. And the common theme that I found was, back in the day, it wasn't easy to get a website for as an agent. Your company might have had a website, but you didn't have one unless you kind of built something and all that kind of stuff. So I found myself really digging in and loving building my own websites and doing some tech and that kind of stuff. And I just spend hours just loving it and doing it. And then even before that, I had a background in finance and all the tech geek stuff, and I won't bore you. But anyway, so the real estate and the tech kind of came together, and how I ended up meeting Nate was, I was working with Home Invest on some, marketing management stuff. And so we worked together, for quite a while. And then, eventually one day, Nate, Nate and I always kind of go back and forth on different, technology and opportunities and different things like that, how we can serve students in the community and things like that. So one of the things that we were looking at was just how can we help real estate investors. And so it's always just been a natural progression to be able to serve the community and build things that help them in their day-to-day activities. So that's kind of how we got there. And Aside from that, I think it's really important, that I acknowledge my faith, and that's kind of why Nate and I are able to work really well together, because we have that commonality on our faith.
Yeah, definitely. And I always love your sign in the background. I'm
Thank
firstly
you.
jealous of your microphone. You got an awesome microphone, but I always read your sign every time I used to see you on Facebook, and I love it. But yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
true. And that's interesting, because you've been in real estate for a long time, and I think it really helps for people that get into the real estate space, especially in products and services related to the real estate, that you've got to have some knowledge. You've got to know, a little bit about real estate and understand it. And it just means that you can talk the language of the people that you're trying to build these things out for. So that would have been an advantage for you, wouldn't it, to have that background of already knowing, a bit about real estate and the terms and all that sort of stuff when you come in.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And then, I've been doing digital marketing and whether it be for government or for, investors and agents, and even the one-off, traditional business and things like that, who come in and they're like, "Hey man, I love what you're doing in the real estate investor space. Hey, can you help me out with this other business?" And so that they have. And so that ends up turning into different things. But anyway, yes, it totally
Yeah.
does, because I think your prior experience definitely plays into how you're able to help people.
Yeah. And when you met Nate and you got into that space at Social Media Blueprint, what was your vision at the start? Did you have a vision, or was it just, let's see what happens? Nate was saying, "Look, can you do this?" How did that all
So
come about?
I've known Nate and been working with Nate for, I don't know, 6-7 years. It was way before Social Media Blueprint.
Yep.
We were in the early stages of Home Invest, and so that's kind of how it all came about. And then Nate began, he had such wonderful experiences that he had with Home Invest, and decided that he was going to start sharing those, his knowledge. And thank heavens that he did, because he has been such, an important leader in the real estate investor community, and as far as teaching and mentoring other students and that kind of thing. So that's really just how it came about, was how can we create systems that, will really allow students to leverage his knowledge and be able to use the things that he implements in his business, and then carry that forward, and the investor have less of an obstacle to be able to implement and start
Yeah.
the exact same type of strategies.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny, when I spoke to you the other day, I said, "Look, you can do some share screen," and you said, "I'd prefer not to do the share screen because so you're very aware of people, And I said, "Well, I'd prefer you to come on and just be yourself and just talk us through it, because sometimes the share screens can get boring, and that's probably
Yeah.
another thing that you're very aware of all
Most,
these sort of things with
yeah,
the
I think
students."
most people don't want to come on and enjoy a training module,
Yeah,
so
or
but yeah,
endure. Endure could be the word.
endure a training
Yes, it could be
module.
a bit painful at times. I'm sure you'd make it interesting, and the product's amazing, so it'd be good. But yeah, like, just when it comes to the coaching side of it, I'll just jump across there for a minute. You've got a couple of caps you wear, but when it comes to you just mentioned the students and making life easier for the students. Is that one of the highlights? Do you really enjoy working with the students as a part of what you do? At Home Invest / Social Media Blueprint.
Actually, that is one of my favorite things, because ultimately, I can't tell you how many times I have actually heard people refer to, when we come in and we set up their real estate investor business, and, whether it be their, all of their social media presence and the CRM and all the different things. And I've had no less than this many, but probably this many times, where people actually have used the word business in a box. And, because when they're first coming in, or even when they're ready to grow into a different a different space in their real estate investment journey, so many times they don't know what they don't know. And so when, Nate has us come in and, build out everything for them, and they get all of these things, all these assets and the systems and the automations, it literally is like a business in a box. And so when I am able to share with them and help them through, implementing and whether it's, again, starting a business or growing it from where they are, I love just to see the impact that it can make on someone, and see someone go from either, 0 deals to, 3 or 4 deals a month, or go from where maybe they were already doing 3 deals a month, but then they go to, 4 or 5 deals a month. And so to see that and watch people through that journey is really empowering.
Yeah,
I mean, not that it's not me. It's Nate and his amazing systems and that he has helped put in place. So it's supporting him, but it's really amazing to be able to be a part of that whole process.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, Marla. All the people there have got that same sort of culture as what Nate's got, haven't they? It's that serving, giving. How do we help? How can we make this better for you? So I think that's the old saying, like attracts like, and I think a lot of the coaches and the people that come as students have got that mentality, and they want to go out and serve people in the community as well. So yeah, it is a very unique space, and yeah, I could imagine, exactly what you're saying, how you'd feel with all that is just seeing people just escalate and go from struggling to having some systems in place, and then getting their business up and running into that next level, and people that are already doing stuff scaling up to that next level. So your product definitely helps with that, because it just frees up so much time. And so I just want to get down to the meat and potatoes, Marla. If you just want to do an elevator pitch, because I know you don't want to speak, you probably get bored with speaking about it, but it is such a great system, and it's got so many great features. Do you want to just do like a brief overview for anyone that's watching that hasn't actually heard of it, and the feature, probably some key features at the end of it, because there are some really good features that are automated. So take the floor and then do your elevator pitch and go from there.
Yeah, you bet. So, I mean, basically REI Software is an all-in-one CRM designed specifically for real estate investors by real estate investors. I've had the pleasure of partnering with people like Nate and other key influencers in the real estate investor space who do coaching and training, and being able to draw knowledge from how they want things to be laid out, and how we can best serve students coming in, both in terms of learning and implementing and that type of thing. And so we've got text message campaigns, email campaigns, all of that's built out and ready to go when you come on board. You can do transactional email and texting, of course, as well, and lead management, and then an entire pipeline that will take a lead from coming into your CRM all the way to where you are closed. So you can kind of watch that progression of how the lead moves through your pipeline, and everything from websites and funnels and all of the stuff that I love to geek out on. But all of that is, kind of ready to go. And so you have a 6-page website that you can post all of your property listings to very easily too. That's something I'm really very proud of, that we've got now, where it takes 5 minutes to post your property onto your website. And you can also put your property brochure on your website, and you have a download PDF or a link that you can share in an email campaign. And let's see. So, I mean, like, there's a lot of features. Calling, you can call directly from the app, and then so on your desktop or on your phone. And everything is logged inside the contact. So you don't have to jump from your phone text message to your Gmail or email, everything is in one location, and it's really easy to be able to track your communication. And even if you're like me and if somebody tells you, well, let's get back together in 2 weeks or in 3 weeks, and you think, okay, now it's 3 weeks has gone by, you are going to follow up with them, and then you come back in and you're thinking, how did that last conversation go? Well, you can play it back and be able to hear it, and so you've got the benefit of being able to leave off, or pick up right where you left off with them.
Yeah, and it's also got everything's triggered, isn't it? So it's all automated. If
Exactly.
you links to your social media, and if someone comes into your Facebook group, whatever, it's all auto response. It all goes out. So that's the part I like, that it just does everything for you. So once it's actually been set up, it's all automated. So because it's old school people like myself, writing on bits of paper, and then you lose bits of paper everywhere. It's just it just does everything for you. So I think it's just amazing. And another question with that is, how do you deal with people like me, Marla, that come in and that are like, I'm the second worst tech person in the system you've had. Coach Randy's the worst, and I'm the second worst. What do you do with people like us? I mean,
well, Randy uses our system, and he loves it, and so I am a believer that anyone who is that as long as you will get in there and use it, you're going to be successful. We've got if you're in the SLP SMB program with Home Invest, you have a couple of coaching calls a week that you have access to, and then in addition, REI Software, you've got a support call there, so you can jump in and get support. So there is no, and I have to kind of brag on our traditional support. I'm very blessed to have a team that is super fast with chat support, email support, and so we're kind of always there, if you will, to be able to support somebody as they have some questions about how to implement. And we've also got a great video library too.
Yeah, there is a great video. To the audience, I was only joking, because I've actually the last couple of weeks been learning it, and it's not as hard as what it actually looks. I mean, for someone like me, it's not as easy, but I've actually come a long way in a couple of weeks. So yeah, that was just a joke, because Marla knows that how I've struggled over and I've resisted. And I think, like you said, Marla, it's letting go of that resistance and just getting in there and watching videos and doing stuff. But once you get in there, you just can't believe what it can do. So yeah, we quite often joke about that. Sometimes I curl up in a ball, sucking my thumb with my teddy. I'm that frustrated. But
you said you were going to invite Teddy today, and I don't.
Yeah, no, Teddy's down the beach. He's down the beach house. He's having a rest at the moment. So he's
okay.
Old Teddy's he's down there. But no, awesome. And yeah, I'll get into. I just wanted to ask you some questions. On the coaching side of it. Like when that happens, when someone comes in and they struggle a little bit, what have you found the best ways to open them up? Is it just to sit down and have a chat with them and say, listen, just try this, try that? Have you had many students that are coming in? Because a lot of people just know tech now, it's just normal, but older people get a bit of a block with it. How do you deal with that? You just tell them to take a deep breath and just calm down, or what's the best way to deal with it?
I think with compassion, number one, and I tend to go, I tend to teach to people's level of technology ability, or technical ability. I've literally coached people who, when I say click on the back button of your browser, they don't know what a back button is. I mean, so
right.
There are varying degrees of people that come through and that I've had to work with. And so it's definitely with just like patience and compassion, because you have to meet people where they are in their journey, and and then just kind of bring them up to where they need to be. And sometimes that happens, on a call. Sometimes it happens on a couple of calls, right? Or a few calls. And but that's the beauty of having multiple calls that they can join, and we literally will share screen and share mouse and walk through and just kind of answer questions that they have. And So that's I mean, that's pretty much how I do it. And there's not a huge secret. It's just like trying to transfer some of my knowledge and treating people like that, how I would want to be treated if I was in that same situation.
Yeah, yeah, which is great, because a lot of tech people they don't understand, but you do actually have that empathy and understand. You've had it with me before. You've just said, Graham, take a deep breath and just relax and just calm down. We've got you here. So yeah, you do need a bit of support when you're in that space, because a lot of tech people that are tech geniuses just don't get it, do they? They're too advanced, whereas you've worked in the trenches with students, and like you said, you developed this system from people in the trenches like Nate and that. They're out there investing, and they sort of fill you in on the real things, because a lot of tech people that are geniuses that don't know real estate, and that they just think that people are going to know what's going on, but you're a lot closer to the pulse there, I guess, in saying that. So plus, your nature is that as well. But when we're talking about features before, Marla, there's a couple that I think are brilliant, and it's the I think it's the post cannon, where it basically posts. You can post months ahead in Facebook so many times a day. Now I think that's a feature you missed. That's a ripper, in it. That saves so much time, because I used to do all that all manually. And
Yes. So we actually have a couple of. Oh, I'm sorry. I think there was a delay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, no, that's good.
Okay, perfect. So we do have some additional software that works in conjunction with REI software. So we have a Chrome extension that when you admit people into your Facebook group, it will automatically pull all of their data into REI software. So their name, their email, phone number, any questions that you ask, and their answers come in. And then you can tag you can actually tag them based on if they say they're a wholesaler, they say they're a landlord, whatever it is. And then it will bring them over. It sends them an email, it sends them a text, and all of it's customized based on their response. So, because if somebody says they're a wholesaler, you're not going to talk to them probably the same way that you might a landlord or a buyer, or depending on the type of group that you're asking or that you've got. And so it's going to send a text, it's going to send an email, it's also going to send a direct message to them. And you can do all of that in about 5 clicks. And then the beauty of that is when you bring them into your CRM, then you can follow up with them once a week and reach out to them and say, hey, just wanted to check in with you, see if you got any, deals this week. And so, you're staying top of mind and you're really being omnipresent. And so you're reaching them on their text, their email, their Facebook Messenger. And then you can also color code and categorize your communications in Messenger so that, if you identify them as a wholesaler, you can go back into your DMs and follow up with them in your wholesale or right in your Messenger app.
Yeah, which is super important, because how much stuff gets lost in a Messenger feed.
Much
to have all those tags there and to be able to go back and that it actually puts them on another page. It puts them in like you've got all your wholesalers in one area, haven't you? And you've got so it breaks them up as well.
Yeah.
So you can go into another section and check that out as well, and do separate messages for those people. Yeah. So it's just brilliant. And the fact that you can post also, for weeks in advance, you can set all your posts up, and then they just automatically post in groups. That's just anyone that's been on Messenger a lot and is on Facebook a lot in groups would realize how beneficial that is. So they're my two favorite.
We actually have the ability to not only post in your Facebook group, and you can schedule that and you draw from the library of posts that we've got in there. But you also have the ability to schedule post in other people's Facebook group, which is really powerful, because there's not any other software that I'm aware of that will allow you to schedule posts in other people's groups that you're just a member of.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's huge, isn't it? Like, because You can just post your maximum per day, have them all set out. It's all in the system. And another thing, Marla, you mentioned before, students that come in that are already doing so many deals a month and they want to scale. It's perfect for scaling because they can actually systemize this and teach a VA to do it. A VA can just do all the social media, all of this stuff, program it in, and it's set and forget. So you don't need a team of VAs. You just need maybe one that takes care of all the programming and then set and forget. So it just frees up not only time, it frees up, you don't need as many people to operate what you're doing. So you can keep it really small if you want to. And yeah, there's so many benefits. So it's just amazing. So that's why you're so popular, because it's freed up so much time for people. People can actually go out and enjoy a little bit of time, Marla. And like you said, you can be down the beach having a fish, and you got your cell phone with you, and you can basically do stuff from your cell phone and receive calls from the CRM on your cell phone. It just makes life easy. I mean, I actually do it here. Mine runs through, and I actually in Australia are walking down the street talking to people in the US. So it's amazing, isn't it? Like, because it's so no, that's awesome. Now I don't know if you want to talk any more about the product, or whether you just want to talk about some other topics, because you probably get sick of it. That's all you do is talk about it. But
whatever you want, Graham.
Yeah, the coaching side of it, I just want to dig in a little bit deeper about the students, and what do you find separates as a coach and an educator? What separates students that do well from students that don't do well or struggle and need more help? Like, obviously, there must be some students that just come in and blitz it. What trait do you see that they have that makes them sort of accelerate away from the pack?
I love this question. Thank you for asking it. Okay, so I think there's a common trait, and I think there's going to be some people that have natural abilities or prior experiences that are going to allow them to move forward faster, perhaps. But the common trait that people have that come through, whether they have it naturally or they have that prior experience, or even people who have no experience, the common trait, Graham, is they're committed, that their ability to commit to a process, their ability to, or their willingness to just do the activities, regardless of, not pick and choose the activities, right? And so many times I see people come through, and if you talk to the students that are successful and humble, and they come through and they literally say, everything that Nate's program said to do, I did it. And I've, and then they have these huge successes. And so it really, truly, I think, is about just implementation, doing the things, following the system, and being present in their new business, right? Or in growing their business, or whatever that looks like. And I think it's just a lot of attitude, and, having the right mindset. And that tends to be where I see people really excel. And it's not about prior experience or not having prior experience. It's really just about mindset and determination.
Yeah, that's a great answer. That, because
and sticking with it, just sticking with it. It's not, like, let me stick my toe in the water and see if I can do this in the next couple of weeks. It's really like, this is my new life. It's kind of like people who go on a diet, right? You don't decide, well, I'm going to try this new diet. You say, I'm going to try this new lifestyle of being healthy and changing my, my eating habits. It's, you're developing habits, just like going to the gym. You're developing habits that are going to, that are going to serve you long-term, in the months to come and the years to come. And so you just start building those muscles, and then you'll reap the rewards from it. And those are the types of students that I see go gangbusters.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned muscles. Well, that's like going to the gym, isn't it? You can't go to the gym 3 times and then think you're going to look like Arnold. You've got to keep going. It's a lifestyle, isn't it? So it's the same. And one thing I always say to people is, I remember when I actually come in, Nate, one thing that stuck with me, Nate said, you've got to come in and play all out. You don't just come in here and sort of, like you said, toe in the water. It's all out. This real estate game is all out. You've got to give it everything and play at a high level. And I know, and anyone that's ever played a high level of sport, it draws you up to that level. You have to train harder. You're expected to achieve more. Your coaches are harder on you. So it's the same thing, isn't it? You've got to sort of get up to a level and stay at that level. Well, it's the same with anything. And you've hit the nail on the head there. It's the people that probably come in and play all out and burn the boats and just say, right, I'm here. I'm taking no prisoners. And they're probably the ones either experienced, educated. It doesn't matter what background they come from. They actually can have results, and to follow the system and stick to it.
I do think that is true. I don't think you necessarily have to. I do just want to kind of make a comment on when you say burn the boats. I think you can emotionally burn the boats. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to say, I'm going to commit, 40 hours a week to this and quit my day job. I've seen many students come through and they do it part-time and then they go full-time. I've seen them grow and bring in other people onto their team and build thriving businesses out of them starting part-time. So to your point, yes, burn the boat, but mentally burn the boat. Like there's no turning back. I will be successful no matter what. And you just keep going. It's just a keep going and building those muscles. And sometimes that happens really quickly, and sometimes it may take you weeks or a few months.
Absolutely. Thanks for clarifying that, because that's exactly right. Don't just quit everything and go, because some people need to do that, but the majority of people and really just have it as a side hustle. And there's people that come in that still want to keep their jobs. They love what they do for a job and they want to invest on the side. So there's different horses for different courses. There's no one, like you said, mentally burn the boats. Like I'm all in. I'm going to do this, but don't do anything rash. Don't literally don't go crazy. But thanks for clarifying that, because that is a good point. And I think real estate also is a great business, especially with wholesaling, for people to get in as a side hustle. And it's a bit of a funny word, side hustle, but part-time. Get into it casual, part-time, build yourself up, and don't be in a hurry. I mean, you mentioned that before. That it's not a sprint; it's a marathon. Just everyone's at different paces, and the longer you're in the game, the more chance you've got of being successful. So, you make some great points there, some gold nuggets for us, Marla. And I'll get it. That leads me into sort of the mindset space. Now, I mean, this is probably a Captain Obvious question, but how important is mindset with all of this to set your mind straight from the start?
I think it is important. For me, I see a lot of people come through and they are already there. They are, they are inspired. They're, you can tell that they're just really ready to go. And then there are other people who, they're not quite sure, but then they get a feel for the culture of what we are, the things that we're teaching and showing, and our belief systems and how we support students. And so many times I see where, they, people will say, you know what, I am all in, I get it. And their mindset, you can see like a mindset shift. And so, I would just say anyone who is, and if there's other people listening to this and you're not, maybe they're not already a student or, whatever, not that you have to be a student, but we certainly would love to have you. But just know that, get your mind in the right place, that you're gonna succeed, and you will. People, if you surround yourself with people that are gonna, lift you up, people that are gonna teach you and inspire you and train you and push you. This is what, there's lots of room in real estate investing. There's lots of houses. There's never a shortage of opportunity. So there's always opportunity. Just get your mind, your mindset right, and get with people that are going to inspire you.
Yeah, that's a good point. And mindset, because a lot of people just, especially come into trainings and mentorships and and courses and that, and they just want to get into the nuts and bolts. Like, look, and usually first module, anything you do in life, it's mindset, and people just go, yeah, look, I've done the mindset stuff. I just want to, not realizing that the mindset is going to make those nuts and bolts come together. You've got to have the right mindset. So that's, I mean, we've all been guilty of it when we've done trainings and that in the past, where I'm just too busy. I just want to get into the nuts and bolts. So that's what you're saying there, is basically it's important. And one of the things is, which is encouraged by the coaches, is like a morning routine, a daily devotions, that type of thing, where you start the day off in a very positive, positive space. So, which leads me to the next question: what do you have, a morning or a night ritual, and do you have any, like a routine that you follow that to get yourself in the right mindset every day?
Yeah. So, I mean, I start it and stop it with prayer. That's my go-to thing.
Yep.
I pray before I ever open my eyes. It's just part of who I am and what I do. And then I would say, like I tend to either listen to some sort of training and motivation podcast, of course, after Bible. And then, training motivation, podcast or audiobook, something like that to kind of get me going. I love to listen to stuff like that while I'm, having my shower, getting ready for my day. And then I just try and end my day winding down, of course, like I mentioned, in faith and prayer. And just humbling myself, asking for guidance and, in life and business, and who I can help, and who I can, whether it be through, just being there for someone or business or what have you. So that's pretty much, I've had a lot of mentors that I've had the benefit of connecting with. And so I'm always looking to, learn from others and connect with others. And I think, that's something that's always been really important to me. And that's kind of the way that I choose to live. So I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it does. It does, because a lot of people I talk to have a success. They swear by success habits, routine, and it is. You look at people that are doing a lot during the day. They have some sort of system where they, like you said, prayer, meditation, a little bit of exercise, some content, whether it be morning. Some people get up later and they do it at night. There's not one size fits all, but it's a common theme. So, I mean, it sounds like you've got a really good, solid one. And how long have you been doing that for? Has that been a long-term thing that you've?
Oh yeah,
always,
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I love to just start my day. I get up earlier than I would have to if I didn't pack all of that early morning activity in. But I love to just have my coffee and be just really present in that time. And so that's, I always start my day really early that way.
Yeah. It gives you time by yourself before the day gets a hold of you.
Yeah.
And, pulls you from pillar to post. So, and also you were talking about mentors. Who have been, some of your top mentors that you just think, they're the bomb. Those couple are the bomb that you've, and it doesn't have to be personal relationships, but like even people that you've done study courses or like an Anthony Robb, that type of thing. It doesn't have to be personal one, but who would be the top sort of 2 or 3 that's influenced you?
So, I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't go back to the Tony Robbins in his youth. Loved that. And there's been so many. I couldn't possibly just say one or two, because I've been fed and blessed by all of them. But honestly, I think the people that I think are so have been really influential, is one of the people is Nate. And I know that sounds kind of cheeky or whatever, but I mean, for me, to watch Nate, how he cares for people and how he implements his faith in his business, and how in that he's so open to share, and that is not something that everyone can do. But he really does stand by that belief and that principle of helping others, and that's kind of, I have been blessed, like I said, to know him for 6 or 7 years and work with him in so many different capacities, whether it be, formally as a COO, or, just JVing on different projects with him, or being a coach. And so, he has just been very instrumental in my own business development. And I think, he's always open to share and help others through his coaching and training and stuff like that. So, people like him, I've, whether it was back in my finance days or in my early real estate days, my broker, her name was Betty. She's passed since, but, just different people throughout who you pull, that mentor you. I think that the people that, if you can find really good mentors in your journey, those are really the people that are going to impact you. Of course, you want to hear from your Tony Robbins and stuff like that, but your day-to-day mentors, those are the people that are going to really, they're going to change your life. And, because you can draw different, principles from them. And hopefully I've encouraged others in that same capacity in different areas, but I don't know. But
No,
I would say individuals.
Right. Yeah, you're 100% right. I get what you're saying with, you've got the people that educate on it, like the Tony Robbins, they're great motivators. But on a day-to-day level, to see someone that actually walks the talk is amazing, isn't it? And to be around them all the time, and they actually, that they do more than walk the talk. They're just amazing. And I know what you're saying, because I've had a couple along the way, but I don't think there's a person that with Nate that has, worked with Nate or whatever, that doesn't feel that. It's just what he, it's just how he is. So I know I've interviewed on another podcast some of the coaches at SMB, and they've all said the same thing. So it's very common, and we're not just saying that because we think Nate might be watching at home, like
probably not.
On,
he knows. He knows you've got it. He knows you've got it.
Yeah, we're not just saying that to be nice. It's just, I think people, students and everything, would say the same thing. So that's it's great to be around grassroots people that you can actually see, feel, and touch. Like they're real. So, and just quickly, what podcasts and books and that do you follow? What is it? Real estate, or is it outside of real estate?
It's most of the podcasts that I follow are many of them are, or most of them are outside. I mean, of course I follow you, for real estate investing, but outside, most of it is outside, because I need, as a marketing and tech person, I need to stay up on marketing and technology to be able to, support those, for investors. If we don't know what's happening in, the evolution of marketing or technology, or, Facebook ads, or, any type of thing like that, then I'm not serving my community well. So that's, where I have to spend the majority of my time is, through like continuing ed, to make sure that we are staying top, a top provider of marketing and technology.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it moves so quick, doesn't it, Marla? How quick does it move?
It definitely
you see
does.
it on the front, you see things can just, just from pre-COVID to post-COVID, how the industry changed. Virtual wholesaling blew up, and then all the tools that have gone along with it have just gone crazy. So yeah, you'd have to really keep an eye on that. And I know you like watching the Thunder from Down Under podcast, and you want to put a lot of time into that. But yeah, I'm going to allow you to go and watch a bit more tech stuff so that you can help people like me when we come through. So no, that's awesome. And yeah, like, it's just been really good talking to you on this level, Marla, because it's, you know what I mean? Like, we haven't gone over techie. It's been about, it's been very, very real and really human. That's what we wanted to do, is just not have your share screen and in a little box in the corner. I wanted to get you on and show you off to the world, because all the students know what, they've worked with you, and all the staff. But, and you said something really interesting before, Marla, like, this goes into the Facebook group, the Set for Life, the Home Invest Facebook group, and onto the YouTube channel. People, if they're starting off, get started in. There's Nate puts a lot of content, free content at everywhere. Get started off, especially if you're new, cut your teeth on that. And then from there, you can look at if you need anything further. But there's so much out there now that you can actually just follow someone like Nate in these arenas for free until you decide what you want to do. And then, like you said, then there's a whole team of people. If you want to go and do some sort of training specific to what you want to do, then you know where you stand. So, it's good. That's why I get a lot of you guys in as coaches and people that work within the system, so people can actually see and feel that culture that's in there. So it's been awesome. I've been meaning to catch up with you for so long. I really appreciate you coming in and being so open and transparent with us and sharing all your knowledge with us. So we've hit the 45-minute mark. I'll let you go, Marla, because or else we just start, we'll chat all day. We've had John give us a holer, which you probably remember John's holers from when he was in the program. So g'day, John. Thanks for yelling out. And keep up the good work. Look, once again, Marla, thank you for coming on. Keep up the good work. You do a mountain of work in there, and it's a very crucial part of the whole SMB. Pardon me. Sorry, the SMB system. And we love you. We love your work, and it's been great seeing the lighter side of Marla today. The lighter side of you as a person. So thanks for sharing all that with us. And
my pleasure. And and if someone wants to reach out, they can, definitely go to the REI Software website, reisoftware.com, and reach out and be able to connect with me.
I was going to say some touch points, but just before we go, some touch points. So is that the best place to find you? reisoftware.com, just to check it out?
So actually, I just dropped the link, reisoftware.com/SMB. And basically that will give you, an overview of all of the CRM. And then, we do things like, lead generation and stuff like that for, ad management. But in addition to that, if you do go to that link and you join, you get like all of Nate's goodies that he has us wrap up in the software. So
awesome.
All of his emails and text and landing pages and all that kind of stuff.
Actually, now that you say that, in the Facebook group, do you want to jump in and just put the link in the first thing in the comments? So if people want to go in and click on the link, it's probably easier to do it that way. And I'll jump in the YouTube channel in the description and put it in there. That way, if people want to check it out, it's there ready to go. So, and that's got the bonus of some goodies from Nate as well, which would be a bonus as well. So, all right. And that's the best way to reach out to you. All right, Marla, I'll let you go now. That's been fantastic. I'm so glad we caught up. It's been a long time. I've been trying to interview you for a long time, but you've been super busy because things have been evolving and growing. So thanks for coming in, and please, guys, reach out to Marla. She makes tech fun. She makes tech fun and a bit more relaxed. She's not. That's the funny thing, Marla. You're not the normal stereotype tech person. You're very relaxed and very natural, and you do serve people. So, all right. Here's goodbye for us. Thanks, Marla, for coming in. And everyone enjoy the rest of your evening. And hola to John.
Yeah. Hola, John. Bye. Adios. See you guys.
Adios, amigos.